When I handed my stepmother the ideal Mother's Day present, I studied her expression as the truth of it sank in. My father married Vanessa when I was 11, just 13 months after Mom passed away from cancer that spread like wildfire. One moment she was mentioning a headache. 82 days later, I stood by her grave in a black dress, tags still attached. Dad waited precisely 1 year before introducing Vanessa. She was a colleague at his financial firm, with a dazzling smile and blonde hair that stayed perfectly in place, the type to wear stilettos to casual cookouts. "She brings joy back to my life," Dad said softly but firmly. "Please, Emma, give her a chance." So I did. I helped Vanessa settle in, lugging boxes of high-end heels to the closet where Mom's gardening gear once hung. I stayed quiet as she redecorated, swapping family pictures for modern art that brightened the room. I even forced a smile when she turned Mom's vegetable patch into a zen patio, dismissing homegrown food as old-fashioned. For 3 years, I played the part of the dutiful stepdaughter. I attended her work functions in the outfits she picked out. I endured her friends' compliments about my maturity at 14. I buried my grief under perfect grades and fake smiles. Dad didn't notice my silence, too caught up in Vanessa's social whirl, client dinners, weekend getaways, wine tastings. I slept with Mom's scarf under my pillow until her scent faded. Vanessa made efforts in her own way. She gave me lavish birthday gifts, always things she'd choose for herself. She threw grand dinner parties, calling me our daughter to strangers who forgot my name. She set up a college fund, loudly advertising her kindness. But when I got my period, I turned to the internet for answers. When nightmares of Mom's death woke me, the family dog was my only comfort. The tipping point came in my sophomore year. I landed the starring role in the school play, my first spark of passion since Mom's death. Opening night clashed with Vanessa's charity gala. "You'll have to miss the show," she said, scrolling her phone. "The Thompsons are bringing their son. He's at Stanford. Networking matters, Emma." Dad started to protest, then fell silent when Vanessa touched his arm. "It's just a school play," he mumbled. "There'll be others." I retreated to my room and opened the wooden jewelry box Mom left me. Inside were her engagement ring, a strand of my baby hair, and an unopened journal I'd avoided, dreading her final words. That night, through tears, I read every page. It was filled with her dreams for me, cherished moments, and advice she couldn't give in person. The last entry, written 2 weeks before her death, stood out. "If you're reading this, Emma, know about the safe deposit box. The key is taped inside the journal's cover. What's inside will change everything. I'm so sorry." The key was small, silver, etched with the bank's name. The next day, I skipped school and went to First National. The manager, familiar with Mom's family, said, "Your mother knew you'd come." In the vault, I found a USB drive, folders of papers, and a letter in Mom's handwriting. "My dearest Emma," it began. "By now, Vanessa has likely woven herself into your lives." I read the letter twice, hands trembling. Mom had uncovered Dad's affair with Vanessa 6 months before her diagnosis. She'd hired a private investigator who compiled a damning file, hotel receipts, text exchanges, photos of them together while Mom was at my soccer games. The evidence spanned months, images of them at hotels in 3 cities, texts that turned my stomach. "She's taking Emma to her grandma's this weekend. Come over. Imagine when we don't have to sneak around. Sometimes I wish she'd just vanish." That last one was from Dad, sent 4 months before Mom's illness. There were credit card statements for dinners at unfamiliar restaurants, jewelry purchases Mom never received, a lease for a downtown apartment not in our records. Worse, the files revealed Dad and Vanessa had siphoned money from Mom's family trust, my inheritance, into offshore accounts. They'd planned it for years. Mom's family had built a major financial firm over decades. When she married Dad, he was an ambitious junior advisor. She'd mentored him, elevated him to partner. The trust was her legacy, meant for me. Spreadsheets detailed millions funneled through shell companies and fake client accounts. Dad's signature was on every key document, Vanessa's on most. Then came the medical records hinting Mom's rapid decline wasn't natural. Odd test results, unusual prescriptions, private toxicology reports. "I started feeling off after our anniversary dinner," Mom wrote. "Fatigue, then worse. Doctors couldn't pinpoint it. Symptoms only appeared after meals Thomas cooked for me. Lab reports showed heavy metals in her hair samples, consistent with chronic poisoning. Food samples from our kitchen tested positive. Mom consulted specialists who noted her symptoms' strange progression. "I can't prove it," she wrote, "and by the time you read this, it won't matter for me. But I had to protect you." The final page outlined her plan. A secret trust in my name, activated when I turned 18. The house and business I thought Dad controlled were mine. Mom had revised her will weeks before dying, lying, using lawyers Dad didn't know. "I've ensured what's yours stays yours," she wrote. "The trustees will reach you at 18 or sooner if you find this letter. Contact them with the enclosed details." I spent hours in the bank's private room processing it all. When I left, my grief had hardened into resolve. I didn't confront Dad or call the police. I did something bolder. I became the perfect daughter. For 2 years, I excelled at school, joined Vanessa's suggested clubs, attended her tedious events. I wore their approved clothes, spoke their lines, and never let them suspect I knew. At night, I tracked their schemes. When Dad mentioned tricky clients or complex deals at dinner, I researched the companies, tracing funds through their maze of fake entities. My room became a war room, with a hidden safe behind my bookshelf storing copies of everything. I recorded their conversations, photographed documents Dad left on his desk, trusting I wouldn't understand. 6 months after finding Mom's letter, I contacted her trustees, a forensic accountant, a financial crimes lawyer, and a retired judge, Mom's father's confidant. We met at the judge's home during a supposed debate practice. I laid out everything. The accountant winced at the fraud scale. The lawyer muttered curses. The judge, eyes grim, asked, "What do you want, Emma?" I'd weighed my options, expose them now, run away, or confront them directly. Instead, I chose Mom's path, calculated justice. "I want to learn," I said. "Finance, law, how to run the company. I want to be ready to reclaim it." The judge nodded. "Your mother predicted you'd choose this." For 18 months, I lived 2 lives. To Dad and Vanessa, I was the ideal daughter, Vanessa's trophy at parties. But 3 nights a week, I studied with my trustees under the guise of extracurriculars. The accountant taught me to spot fraud in financial records. The lawyer drilled me on corporate law. The judge connected me with Mom's allies in banking and regulation, appalled by Dad's betrayal. I graduated high school at 16, a year early. Dad and Vanessa beamed, their prodigy off to Princeton early with a scholarship. They didn't know I'd been taking online finance courses, studying Dad's firm, tracking his hidden accounts. "We're so proud," Dad said at my small graduation party, attended only by their friends. "You've surpassed our hopes," Vanessa added, posing for the photographer she'd hired. "Princeton early admission. The board's thrilled about your future with us." I smiled, knowing I'd own that board in 2 years. That summer, Vanessa proposed legal adoption. "You're my daughter in every way," she said over lunch at her favorite upscale bistro. "Let's make it official before college." Her eyes held a calculating glint. Adoption would cement her claim to the business if anything happened to Dad. I hugged her, whispering, "Nothing would make me happier." "We should celebrate," Dad said. "Maybe a Hamptons weekend? We could invite the Morgans, their sons at Yale Law." "Perfect," I replied, thinking of the file I'd built on the Morgans' failing tech startup, propped up by Dad's shell company funds. That night, I met my trustees at the judge's study, claiming a sleepover. "They want adoption papers," I said. "Does it affect our plan?" The lawyer spread out documents. "It could help. Adoption requires financial disclosures, giving us fresh data. The trust is untouchable." "How close are we?" I asked. The accountant adjusted his glasses. "We've traced 67% of the stolen funds across 4 countries. It's enough for charges." "And Mom's illness?" the judge asked. The medical evidence was the hardest part. Experts couldn't confirm murder, but the patterns warranted investigation. "We hold that back for now," I said. "One fight at a time." The judge handed me a wrapped package. "Your mother left this for when you were ready to act." Inside was a vintage fountain pen, my grandfather's, used to sign Mom's first big deal. "She wanted you to have it when you reclaimed what's yours," he said. I carried that pen everywhere. Mother's Day arrived. Vanessa always made it a spectacle, lavish brunches, staged photos for social media. This year, she planned a garden party for 30 friends, with the adoption announcement as the highlight. I spent the prior week crafting my gift, a custom book, working late in my room. The morning was sunny, ideal for Vanessa's staged event. Caterers, florists, and planners transformed our backyard into a chic venue, erasing Mom's wild garden. I found Vanessa in her dressing room, surrounded by discarded dresses. "Which one?" she asked, holding up 2 cream gowns. "The Gucci or the Prada?" "The Prada," I said, knowing she'd pick the Gucci. "I have a gift for you." I handed her a box tied with a silver ribbon. "Oh, Emma, you shouldn't have," she said, surprised. I'd never given her a Mother's Day gift. "Open it now," I insisted. "It's personal." She hesitated, then unwrapped it. The book's cover read, "A Daughter's Thanks," embossed in gold. She expected sentimental photos. Instead, the first page showed Mom, radiant before her illness. "What's this?" she asked, voice sharp. "Keep reading," I said softly. "It gets better." Each page revealed Mom's evidence: hotel receipts, bank records, medical reports, my notes in precise handwriting. Her face shifted from confusion to shock, then fear. By the trust fund section, sweat smudged her makeup. "This is nonsense," she muttered, but kept turning pages, reaching the part about the trust's restructuring and tomorrow's FBI meeting. "Those offshore accounts you and Dad hid," I said casually, leaning on her vanity. "They're traceable. Did you know 17 countries updated banking transparency laws recently? Or that fund transfers sync with your phone's GPS?" Her face paled. "You and Dad will like my terms better than jail." She stood, spilling her drink. You spiteful, careful, I whispered. Guests are watching and I haven't decided if they'll see chapter 3. She glanced at the book, opened to texts complaining about Mom's hospital visits clashing with their plans. What do you want? She hissed, fixing her dress. Host your party, smile, be perfect. Tomorrow at 9, you and Dad meet me at Judge Carver's office to discuss your freedom. The party dragged on for 3 hours. Vanessa's hands shook, her smile brittle. I played the loving daughter, toasting her guidance, watching her wince at my veiled barbs. Emma's a gift, she told Mrs. Carver, the judge's wife. I love her like my own. Vanessa's taught me so much, I added, about trust, about accountability. Mrs. Carver sensed the tension but smiled. You're perfect together. Dad texted he was late from golf, better that way. His gift, an identical book, waited in his study. As guests left praising the event, Vanessa vanished upstairs. I found her packing a suitcase, jewelry in hand. Leaving? I asked. She spun around. You can't prove this, it's all circumstantial. The FBI and SEC disagree, I said. Feel free to run, there's an agent down the street. Watching for 3 days. A bluff, but she didn't know. She collapsed on the bed. What now? We wait for Dad, then we negotiate. Dad arrived, calling for Vanessa. I met him in the hall, handing him his book. She's upstairs. Open this first. His face mirrored Vanessa's, shock, anger, silence. His legal training kept him composed. Where did you get this? He asked. Mom left it, I said. With instructions. Pain flashed across his face. Emma, whatever you think. It's in triplicate stored securely, I cut in, including evidence about Mom's illness that could spark an investigation. He paled. You think I poisoned her? I don't know, I said. It's enough for questions if I push it. He closed the book. What do you want? 9 tomorrow, Judge Carver's office. We'll discuss avoiding prison. That evening, Vanessa sat in the dark on Mom's old garden patio, now sterile and white. Why now? She asked. Why wait? Mom taught me patience, I said. I needed to know everything. What do you want? Dad hands over the company via the trust. You both resign, consult under my oversight. The stolen money returns. No charges. She laughed bitterly. You're 16, you can't run a firm. Almost 17, I said. With Mom's trustees, I've been preparing for years. Dad's footsteps approached. Vanessa gripped the chair. He won't agree. I stood, touching Mom's necklace. He already has. Check your phone. Dad's text to her read. She knows it all. He joined us, looking worn. You could have talked to me, he said. Like Mom did, I replied. When she asked about the affair or the trust, how did that go? He had no response. The company isn't just numbers, he tried. It's relationships. I've handled that, I said. Mom's team is ready. They stayed for her. Vanessa glared at him. You said they were loyal to you. He lied, I said. Like about your prenup's cheating clause, you get nothing if you divorce. Her eyes widened. What prenup? The one I have, I said. With proof of your affair with Mark from legal. Hotel charges show up in audits. Dad's face darkened. You said that was done, he growled. It is, she stammered. I stood. 9 tomorrow. Don't run, I'm watching. I called Judge Carver to confirm, emailed my trustees the dossier with orders to release it if I didn't check in by noon. Sleep was fitful, their arguments echoing. At 3 a.m., a car left. By morning silence, I dressed in Mom's suit and pearls, professional, older than 16. Dad sat at the kitchen island, disheveled. Where's Vanessa? Gone, he said. Took her car and jewelry. Left her phone. Complicates things, I said, but doesn't change them. At Judge Carver's, Dad signed everything: power of attorney, voting rights, resignation. The judge outlined terms. Cooperate with asset recovery or face charges. Dad nodded, signing the no-contact order until I turned 18. She's my daughter, he protested. Sign, I said, or I release the medical evidence. He signed with Mom's pen, shoulders sagging. Can I explain? I've read your explanations, I said. Emails, memos, your plan to make me a figurehead, I get it. 2 months later, I sat at Dad's former desk. The transition was announced as a family plan, honoring Mom's legacy. Dad stayed a controlled figurehead, monitored tightly. I deferred Princeton, learning the business hands-on. Vanessa surfaced in Florida, caught accessing an offshore account. She spent 2 nights in jail before Dad's lawyers secured her cooperation. She returned, demoted, living in a company condo. Dad divorced her, citing infidelity, leaving her with little. The company thrived. We recovered most funds, rebuilt client trust. I worked tirelessly, moving to a downtown apartment after selling the house. I visited Mom's grave, leaving wildflowers. I did it, I said. Your legacy's safe. Vanessa appeared, holding flowers, nodding once before leaving. Every Mother's Day, I send her a photo of Mom in her garden with a note. Thinking of you. She never replies, but she knows. It's our only language now.